Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shruti Smriti Puranam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Padam Shankaram Loka Shankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Krutau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeri Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavad Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Chaitanyam Sarvagam Sarvam Sarvabhuta Guhashayam Yat Sarva Vishayatitam Tasmai Sarvavide Namaha. Mokshuvasthantaram yasya kritakasya chalo hyatah na sanyogo viyogo va moksho yoktah kathanchana sanyogasyapya nityatvat viyogasya tathaiva cha gamana gamane chaiva sarupam tu nahiyate sarupasya nimittatvad sanimittahi chapare Anupatam Swarupam Hi Svenatyaktam Tathaiva Cha. Moksha avasthantaram yasya. One for whom moksha is a transformation from one state to the other, from bondage to liberation. That kind of transformation happens, in whose opinion, for the moksha to happen, saha kritakaha, a transformation is the result of some effort, action, and therefore is anityam, jalaha, transitory. Because kritakam, what is created by action, is always transitory, impermanent. Therefore, moksha cannot be of the nature of avasthantaram. That one who is in one avastha, such as bondage, becomes transformed in another avastha called liberation. That cannot be. Liberation cannot be a state. Bondage also is not a state. Liberation also is not a state. Then what is it? Bondage is a notion and liberation is the elimination of the notion. Meaning that no change or transformation happens in the intrinsic nature of itself. Na sanyogo viyogo. For some people, Moksha means yoga with Brahman or yoga with Prakriti. That also cannot be. Why? Sanyogasya nityatvat. In sanyoga, union, joining, association, since that association took place because of reason, when the reason is not there, the association also will not be. So this association, Prakriti also is for some reason. That's called nimitta. So sanyogasyavi anityatvat, any two separate entities come into association with each other, that association is anityam because it was not there before and there will not be later. Yogasya tathaiva cha. Yoga, this associate Prakriti is moksha. Again, that also cannot be permanent. Gamana gamane chaiva. The moksha is gamanam. Jiva going to some realm of Ishvara. Or agamanam, Bhagavan coming down. So that also cannot be permanent, cannot be eternal, nityam. Then what is your position? Swarupam tu nahiyate. Swarupam na vinashyati. Atah atma swarupa moksha hai. Therefore, atma for moksha to be nitya. For moksha, liberation, freedom to be nitya, eternal, it cannot be an event. It cannot be a happening. Because an event comes and goes, happening occurs and subsides. So Vedanta says moksha is the swarupam, is the very essential nature of the self. So nothing needs to happen for moksha, because it is an accomplished fact. It is not recognizing what is, recognizing myself what I am, rather than something to happen. Atma Swarupa Moksha is Nityatva Ekaryatva. How do you say that Moksha is Swarupa, Atma is Nitya? Even if Moksha is Swarupa, the essential nature of Atma, how do you say it is Nitya? And how do you say it is not Akaryam, not brought about by something? Answer is that is called Swarupam, which is Nityam and Akaryam. Swarupasya animittatvat. A thing is what it is. The essential nature of something is what it is, like the brightness of the sun, heat for the fire, and so also moksha, freedom for the self. Animittatvat. Fire is hot, not because of the reason. Sun is bright, not because of the reason. Because Swarupa or essential nature does not need to be because of something. It is self-existing. Heat does not require something, fire does not require some other entity to impart heat to that. Anupattam sarupami svena tyaktam tasevacha. Neither something or some entity needs to impart heat to fire, nor can something else take away heat from fire. If heat in the fire was because of some reason, like heat in the water is because of some reason, when the reason is not there heating, then what? That heat will be lost. So what is sanimittam? What is because of nimitta or reason cannot be permanent? Because reason need not always be there. But what is there without a reason? That alone can be permanent. Therefore, anupatam swarupam is svenathyaktam tatheva. Swarupam, essential nature is that is anupatam, which is not subject to being acquired. Tyaktam, atyaktam, not subject to being given up, because it is self-existing, self-supporting, self-shining, you may say, in case of Atma. Continuing with the verse 42. So this was the general rule that was stated about Swarupam. Swarupam, essential nature of anything. That essential nature is that which is animittam, which is there without a reason. Anupatam, something that cannot be acquired. Atyaktam, something that cannot be given up. That is called Swarupam. So this rule about Swarupam, general rule, Atmani Lakshya, there is a Lakshanam is given. The essential characteristics of Swarupa is given. Animittam, Anupatam, Aheyam. So that Lakshanam, which is general for Swarupa, is now shown to exist. Lakshya, that purpose of discussion was to understand Atma. Lakshya, that was targeted was Atma. Therefore, the essential nature of Swarupa is now shown to be existing in Atma, Laksham. So verse 42 says, Swarupatvanna sarvasya tyaktum shakyo hyananyatah gruhitum va tato nityah avishatvat prasaktatah. Sarvasya Swarupatvat. Atma means the self. It is Swarupam, essential nature of everything. What is essential nature of mind is essential nature of you and of anything. Sarvasya Akashadehe. The creation is described as beginning of Akasha. Tasmadva etasmad atma akasha sambhuta. Akashadva is akashadehe. Whatever exists in beginning from space, Swarupatvat, Atma is the Swarupa, essential nature of everything beginning from Akasha. In what sense is Atma the essential nature? Avopita sarpade rajvadivata. The example that Vedanta gives of Swarupa is just as a rope is the Swarupa essential nature of snake. Aropitasya. Like snake, etc., which are superimposed of that, the essential nature, something that cannot be given up. Something without which snake cannot be. Something that cannot be given up by a snake, nor acquired by a snake. So all those, in Rajju Sarpa also, those conditions of Swarupa, that it is inherent, that rope is the essential nature of snake, is not acquired, cannot be given up, because snake cannot exist then. Nor there is reason why the rope is the nature of the snake, but that's what it is. Animittam. So Atma, the self, Asti Bhadi Priyam, is the essential nature of all names and forms, where what is the relationship between Asti Bhadi Priyam, name and form, similar to that of the rope and snake. So example is not the heat of fire. Could be. But example here is the how rope is the essential nature of snake that is superimposed. Adhishthanam, substratum is the essential nature of the superimposed. Sarvasya atmabhutatvat. You take anything, investigate what is the essential nature of that thing, you find that is asti bhati priyam. When analyze the essential nature of any name and form, it will reduce to asti bhati. Everything from akasha to whatever it is will reduce to asti bhati priyam. Sarvasya atmabhutatvat. Whatever it is has essential nature in Atma, essential nature of what is. Tyaktum grahitum va na shakya Atma. Just as fire cannot give up heat or acquire heat, that projected snake cannot acquire rope, can give it up, because its existence is that's the essential nature. So Atma cannot be given up by anything. Asti bhati priyam. This cannot exist without asti, cannot shine without bhati, has no meaning without priyam. And therefore, tyaktum grahitum va na shakya atma. This cannot acquire existence, nor can it give up existence. It cannot acquire wholeness, fullness, nor can it give it up. Kutah? Question is asked. He yasmat, so Swarupatvad na sarvasya tyaktum shakyah. This is the explanation. He ananyatah. He means yasmat because ananyatah bhed abhavad ityartah. Because ananyata. Now, see the relationship between the rope and snake is ananyatva. Not abhinnatvam, really ananyatva. Meaning that the snake cannot exist without the rope. Rope can exist without the snake. Vyatireke abhava ananyatva means that rajju vyatireke sarp abhava. Snake will not exist without the rajju. Not the other way around. Other way around is called abheda, identity. One way is called ananyata. So ananyatah. So therefore, anyatva abhava, therefore cannot be given up, nor can be acquired, because rope, snake cannot give up rope, nor can it acquire, vice versa. So Swarupa cannot be given up, nor can be acquired. Atma cannot be given up, nor can be acquired. He upayatva bhava siddhe. Thus, heyopadeyatva bhava siddhe. Absence of heyatva, upadeyatva, absence of being given up or acquired, that cannot be in case of Atma siddhe when that is established now. In the reasoning given. Phalitamaha. So what is the phalitam? What does it amount to? What's the result? Second line says, Gruhitam va tato nitya avishayatvat prasaktatah. So gruhitam iti or tato nitya, really speaking. Phalitam is what? Nitya. Therefore, Atma is nitya. Cannot be given up, cannot be acquired, cannot be changed, and therefore Atma is nitya. Avishayatvat prasaktatah. So Atmana upadana hanayoho ayoge. Upadana acquiring, hana giving up, Ayoge, since both of these are not possible, so krameya hetudvayama. In that order, upadanatvam, heyatvam, in other order, the hetu, the reason is given. Avishayatvat pruthaktvatah. Because Atma is not a Vishaya. Vishaya can be given up, can be acquired. I can give up something that is different from me, then I can give it up. Or I can acquire my garment, I can give up because it's different from me, I can acquire because I've given up, so different from me. But Atma is not different from anything. Asti Bhavipa is not different from anything, therefore is not available for either giving up, being given up, or being acquired. Pruthaktvatah. Pruthaktvatah. Something can be given up when it is pruthak, or acquired when it is pruthak. Avishayatvat, cannot be given up, cannot be acquired. Nahi avishaya upadiyate. Avishaya, that which does not stand as an object separate from me, cannot be acquired. Swarupavat tyajyate, nor can I give up my own swarupa. Iti artha. So therefore, animittattvam, aheyatvam, anupadayatvam, these were the characters of swarupa stated in the earlier verse, are shown to be applicable to Atma. So Atma is the swarupam of everything. And tata nitya, since it cannot be acquired nor can be given up, therefore is nitya. Atmana nityatve hetvantaramaha. The self is nitya, another reason also given here in next verse. A very interesting reason. Atma tattvacha sarvasya. Nitya atmaiva kevalah. Tyajet tasmat kriya sarvaha. Sadhanai saha mokshavita. So first line gives a hetu. Atma tattvacha sarvasya, and Atma nitya eva. Atma is nitya because what is the relationship that Atma has with other sarva, with everything else? Saryas sarvasya Atma tattvat. Everything serves the purpose of Atma. Atma tattvat. Atma bhogyatvat. Everything is for the sake of Atma. Nothing exists for its own sake. It is there because for Atma. The food is not for its own sake, it's for me, the bhokta. Everything is the category of bhogyam. Atma is the subject, everything else is object. Atma is the bhokta, everything is bhogyam. So, sarvasya agamapayanah. See, bhogyam is something that is agamapai. Fine. I enjoy the beauty of this flower is bhogyam. Agama, subject to coming. Apaya, going. Creation, distraction. So therefore that which is not agamapai, the relation between agamapai, subject to coming and going, and agama anapai, anagamapai, that which doesn't come and go, the two entities are there. Atma is not subject to agama coming, apaya going. Everything else is subject to coming and going. So this is the difference between the two entities, Atma and Anatma. So why is Atma Nitya? Everything is Nitya, Agamapai, because they serve the purpose of Atma, for enjoyment of Atma, purpose of Atma, and Atma is one of whose purpose is served. Sarvasya agama atma sattvat, atma bhogyatvat, whatever it is, agamapai, coming and going, is for the sake of Atma, for the purpose, to serve the purpose, not enjoyment of Atma really, but to serve the purpose of Atma. Everything is secondary. Like everything that is here is for my use. They all serve my purpose. Different kinds of purposes may be there. A book may serve one purpose, table may serve a different purpose, chair may serve a different purpose, a glass case may serve a different purpose. Everything has its own purpose, but not for its own sake. An entity possesses a purposefulness, but not for its own sake. Eyes see, they serve a purpose, not for themselves, for someone who is a seer. Ears hear not for themselves, for a hearer. Flower is there not for its own sake, for someone to enjoy the beauty, for someone to use it for prayer or worship or for anything, decoration. Or just for enjoying where it is, you need not pluck it. So whatever it is in the universe is there because it has a reason to be there. Then it serves a purpose in scheme of things, otherwise it cannot exist. Nothing redundant is there in the universe, except what human being can create, what nature creates. There is no redundance in nature. Serves the purpose. And not its purpose, someone else's purpose. And that someone else has to be Chetana. The universe, names and forms are Chetana and are all purposeful. The Chetanam, insentient, unconscious, serves the purpose of a conscious being always. One conscious being, there is Atma, and that everything serves the purpose. And everything is then subject to coming and going, anitya. Whose purpose they serve is nitya. So, Atma bhogyatvat teshu anagama pai abhoktatma nityavati yojana. Therefore, anagama pai, anagama, not subject to agama coming. Anapai, that ana should be connected, not subject to apaya or distraction. And abhokta, that bhogya atma is bhokta of a nature totally contrary nature. Atma, the conscious being, is of a nature contrary to the anatma or unconscious. Bhokta, the nature contrary to bhogya. So all anitya. So contrary to atma is nitya. It's yodana. So this is what we find. And bhokta is anagama anapai and bhogya is agama apai. The whole universe is bhogyam. So the bhokta is not subject to agama or apaya. Therefore nitya. It is kevalaha nirupadhi ityartaha. All upadhi has a purpose to serve. Nama rupa becomes upadhi. So purpose is only in upadhi, understand. And what is created, there is a purpose. For purpose it is created. Nama rupa, that is upadhi. The one for whom this gets created is not created, asti bhadi priyam. So what is asti nirupadhi? Upadhi is bhogya, anitya. Bhokta is atma, nirupadhi, kevala, non-dual, absolute. Upadhi vasya vishesha nasti. That means there is no vishesha or distinction. Atma, it cannot be, nothing can be distinguished from Atma because Atma doesn't stand, nothing stands apart from Atma. Atma has upadhi, some distinction, then other thing having distinction will stand apart from that. Atma is nirupadhi, indistinct, and therefore this distinct things cannot stand apart from indistinct Atma. Yasmad Atma Nitya Ansaranityam Atma Arthamcha Swatmani Avasthana Moksha iti Siddham. Therefore, Yasmad Atma Nitya, a very interesting way of establishing Atma is Nitya, Anagama, Anapai. That's Nitya. So not subject coming and going easy, that means Nitya, eternal, ever there. And then also Anjasaram Anityam, everything else is Anityam. Atma, not only the Atma, for the purpose of Atma. Therefore, Swatmani Avasthanam, therefore, Atma is Nitya. And they fulfilled because everything else serves the purpose of Atma. Therefore, Swatmani Avasthanam Moksha, all you need is just abiding in your own essential nature. That is moksha. You are the one for whom, of whom everything serves the purpose. You already are that. You are already Nitya, Nirupadika, Nitya, Bhokta, the principal one. Therefore, nothing remains to be done. You just have to recognize who you are and abide in your nature. That's called moksha. It is siddham. Meaning that moksha is already an accomplished fact. Tasmat, so second line says, Tajet tasmat kriya, we come back to the original thing here. Tajet tasmat kriya sarvaha sadhane sa mokshavita. Tasmat mokshavita sadhane sa sarvaha kriya tajet. Therefore, the moksha, the one who is the mokshavit, one who wants moksha, he should give up all the kriyas, because moksha is an accomplished fact. Therefore, it is not a result of any action or transformation, it is an existing fact, which means it is to be recognized and not created. Neither acquired, your own nature, not created, you already are there, not transformed because they are changeless, not purified because they were pure. So all these are established. Vishuddhatvam, purity was established. See, action can do four things. Apyam, you can reach somewhere where you are not. But that was shown. Gama gamanam, cannot be in Atma. Moksha cannot be of the nature of gama gama. Vishuddhi was shown, therefore it cannot be, it is not subject to samskaranam or purification. Nityatvam is shown, is already there, so not to be created. Not available transformation, the vikriya cannot be there. So these are four things that an action can do, and none of them are necessary for Atma, because whatever an action is accomplished, Atma already is. Already apta, apya, apta. Samskrita, Shuddha, Nitya, and also self-existing. So, anapai, anagama, aheya, anupadeya. Means the reason why the Vedantin insists that you should give up all, but just give up all kinds of efforts. Give up, because the natural habit of becoming something, transformation, acquiring something, purifying something, that's natural habit. Action has become the habit. And that very thing denies what is, unfortunately. Action cannot be unless there is the denial of what is. That there is nothing, there is no grudge against action as such. But you see the need of action shows that there is a denial of what is. You cannot be searching for the 10th man unless you deny the fact that, is 10th man is existing. So karma always involves change, and change cannot unless there is a denial of what is. It doesn't need change. So that is why it's not so much giving up action. It is a frame of mind, disposition of mind which is free from the need to do anything. A recognition that no need to do anything. Just calm down, relax. This means sound like the Vedanta has some problem with action. No. Action is its own usefulness, its own realm. Except in moksha, action doesn't have a role to play, that's all. Itopi mukshana kriya tyajya. For this reason also, mokshu should give up the kriya or action. The next verse is Atmalabha paro labha iti shastropapattaya alabhonyatmalabhastu त्यजेत तस्मादनात्मताम्. आत्मलाभः परोलाभ भी शास्त्र उपपत्तयः. Atmalabha, parolabha, the lava, the attainment of Atma is the supreme attainment. Nothing superior to that, nothing that surpasses that. Yallabdva na param labham manyate na param labham manyate nadhikam tatah. Yallabdva cha param labham manyate nadhikam. The Lord Krishna says, gaining which one recognizes that there is nothing more to be gained, nothing greater can be gained. Here Atmalava na param vidyate iti smriti. It says apastamba dharma shastra. That is smriti. And that's called shastra here. Atmalava parolava iti shastram. The Atmalava, lava or attainment of Atma is parolava. Param is supreme. That attainment of Atma is the supreme attainment. And Upapatti also is there. The reasoning is there. What's the reasoning? Sarvasvatyayenapi Atma Samrakshana Pravritti Darshanam Upapatti. See, ultimately a person wants to protect the self. And for protecting the self, a person is willing to do everything. Sarvasva tyagena. Sarvasva means one's own wealth, one's own possession. Sarvasva, one's own possession, tyagena api. Even by giving up all one's possession, also one wants to protect oneself. So that we see in our own life. And so a climber, a mountain, gives up, drops one by one thing. One apple he kept, that also he dropped ultimately, because as you climb up, everything becomes heavier and heavier. So even apple also goes to protect himself. So this is seen everywhere, that everything serves the purpose of Atma. So Sarvasya Tyagena, everything is Tyaga Yogyam, everything is subject to being discarded except Atma. So the Upapatti, the Atmalabha, attainment of Atma must be the greatest attainment, because in favor of that attainment you are willing to let go of everything. So everything must be lower in value compared to Atma, because you want to retain Atma and let go of everything is necessary. That's called Upapatti, reasoning. Shastra Upattaya, that's plural. Bhojana Prayogat Anekatvam Shanatopattinam Suchayati. You can think of other Upattis also. So one reasoning is given, but the teacher, author has used plural. Shastra, well, there may be Shastra statement may be there, other Upattis also are likely to be there. That's why plural is used there. So that is already as Atmalavasya Nitya Siddhatvad. So Atmalabha is attainment of one's own self. Where is the labha there? Atmalabhasya nitya siddhatvat. Atmalabha, attainment of Atma, gaining Atma. Nitya siddham Atma is already gained. Nitya siddham is an accomplished fact. So kividam apurvam uchyate. So you are saying something as though you are saying something new. Atma lava, paro lava. But Atma lava is always there. So you are presenting this as though you are presenting something new. Apurvam eva uchyate. What is the reason why you are saying it as though you are saying something new? So it is said, next one, alabho nyatmalavastu tayet tasmahadanatmatam. Atma, other lava is what? Alavaha anyatmalavastu. Anything attainment of anything other than Atma is alavaha. Only lava in the life is Atma lava. Anatma lava is alava. Anatma lava, gaining anatma is like alava. Is what? In fact, disadvantage. Is a loss. So gaining anatma is a loss. That is why we are saying there is no lava superior to Atma lava. So alava anyatma lavastu. The Tika explains anyasmin swa ajnana parinishpanne ahankaradav abhevena atmasfuranam anyatma lava uchyate. Anyatma lava means what? Anyatma, atmananyam anyatmam, other than Atma. So lava, attainment of anything other than Atma, means what? Looking upon something else is Atma. Looking upon anatma is Atma is called attaining anatma. So, anyatma lava, that expression is explained. Anyasmin, atma lava. Anyasmin, atmataya lava. Anyasmin, something that is different from Atma. What is it? Swajnana, parinishpanne, ahankaradav. Ahankara, etc., the sense of identity or identification or individuality, is ajnana parinishpannam. To think of oneself as an individual is the result of ajnana, because there is no individuality in Atma. There is individuality in the body, mind, sense, the upadhi, there is an individuality. Because it distinguishes itself from all other upadhis. Therefore, there is an individuality, separatedness in upadhi. And because of ignorance, we think that upadhi I am, that creates a sense of ahankara, individuality. So, swajnana parinishpanne ahankaradav. Swajnana, atmajnana. So ahankara, etc., parinishpannam, which is a result of swajnanam, atmajnanam, self-ignorance. Abhedena, atmasfuranam. So therefore, to look upon oneself as an individual, as an ego, as an individual self, meaning that when I think of myself, what is sfuranam? I am so and so. So that is anyatma labha. So whenever I take myself as so and so, that means that what is anatma is taken to be Atma. So anyatma is a labha other than Atma. So anyatma labhastu alabha, but that is not labha. Anyatma labha, anatma labha, or anatmani atma buddhi is the labha of the nature of anatmani atma buddhi. Lava, advantage of looking upon non-self as self, is not an advantage, it is a disadvantage. So, alava uchyate. Why alava? What is alava? Satu labho na bhavati. Attaining ahankara as myself is not lava, is alava. Satu lava na bhavati. Why? Samsara dukkhetutvat. Anything other than Atma, when it is taken as Atma, becomes the cause of dukkha. Because anything other than Atma is limited. In time, place, it is significant. And therefore, when I identify myself any other than Atma, then I cannot become free from a sense of insignificance. However great I may think I am compared to the world, and still I cannot become free from a sense of smallness or insignificance. Even the greatest billionaire also, $113 billion, richest man in the world, which is God bless you and make you richer, we no problem. But even that person also cannot become free from a sense of smallness or insignificance. Even I am the sovereign of the whole universe. There is no one like me. Even then, the sense of smallness, insignificance cannot be whenever anything limited. And everything is limited. One cannot become free from a sense of limitedness. And so you think that I have not attained sovereignty. That is not a lara, it is a lara. It is not a gain, it is a loss. Samsara dukkhetu, because it is samsara dukkhetu. The thing wrong with the kingdom of sovereign, I am sovereign, that idea is samsara dukkhetu. Dukkhetu. Because dukkha arises from a sense of smallness, and nothing can make me free from sense of smallness when I am identified with something which is always small other than Atma. Svata siddha paramananda avirbhava pratibandhakatvat. Unfortunately, what happens is that when the rope is thought to be a snake, the notion, this is a snake, that notion becomes an obstacle to that entity revealing itself as rope. What is the obstacle in my knowing that entity is rope is I have concluded it's a snake. With that conclusion, the ropeness will never be recognized by me. I think I know what it is. When I have concluded I am so and so, I will never question that endeavor, that so and so will always, that becomes a pratibandhaka, an obstacle to the revealing of my true nature. Not the snake, the notion of the snake. The conclusion this is a snake becomes an obstacle to the manifestation of that object which is rope. So conclusion that I am a limited entity becomes an obstacle to manifestation of limitlessness with my nature. Therefore, svata siddha parama, otherwise parama is svata siddha. I do not need to do anything to be limitless. And therefore, abiding in limitless happiness, I don't need to do anything because it's my nature. But this wrong notion about I am so and so, that very notion becomes an obstacle to the manifestation of my true nature. Pratyuta kshati eva. It is not lava, it is alava. It is not a gain, it is a loss. So I think that I acquire sovereignty, it's a loss. Therefore, tyajet tasmat anatmatam. Tasmat anatmatam tyajet. Anatma, give up anatmata. What is anatmata? Ahamkaradi atmabhimanitam. Anatmatam, so anatmani atmabhimanatvam. The sense of the selfness in non-self is anatmata. So tyajed avidya adhyaropitam. It can be only adhyaropa, superimposition because of ignorance. That's what you have to give up. This is what you have to do now. Not an action. Recognition of what is already achieved. Because what is achieved is thought to be achieved. I became something, so you thought that's a loss. Whenever you think that I achieved something, that very thing is a loss of the loss of not recognition of what is already achieved. When I think I achieved something, it can only be at the loss of the recognition of what is already achieved. And therefore, Pramana Brahmatma Jnana Ajnana Bhagana Dvara. So the only way that this notion is born of ignorance. Therefore, knowledge alone can dispel it. So Pramana Janita Brahmatma Jnana, knowledge of the identity of Brahma and Atma, which is born of Pramana, the Upanishad Pramana. Between by Shravanam Mananan, so gain knowledge through Pramana, Tyajet, Anatmatam Tyajet, Anatmani Abhimanam Tyajet, or samsara dukkham, which is the product of Anatmani Abhimanam Tyajet, Atma Jnanena. So Tikakara again summarizes what has gone by. Atma Brahma Swarupa Avagame Atmalabhaya Paramulabha. Avagame by knowledge. Atma Tattva Brahma Swarupa Avagame. By the knowledge of the essential nature of Atma is Brahman, by that knowledge. Atmana, so Atma Labha. What is the nature of Atma Labha? What's the nature of the attainment of Atma? Recognizing that Brahman is the nature of Atma. So Atma Tattva. Atma Tattva, because Atma I already know, but unfortunately there is Ahankara. So Tattva is the essential nature even of Ahankara, which is Brahman. Brahma Swarupa Avagame. Now realize that the essential nature of Atma is Brahman. That is Atma Labha. So Atma Jnanam is Atma Labha. Atma Jnanam is the nature of dispelling Ajnana about Atma and dispelling notions about Atma. That's the knowledge that I am Brahman is Atma Labha. Tadeva Paramo Labha Sayeva, that alone is a Parama Labha, that's a supreme attainment. Param Purushartha iti, that is the ultimate goal and primary goal of life. Iti Atmaikya Jnanam Moksha Sadhanam. Therefore, Jnanam, the knowledge of Atmaikya, the identity of Atma and Brahma, is the means of moksha. Atma cha Advayananda Rupa, and Atma is Advayananda Rupa, the nature of Advayananda, Ananda which is Advayam, non-dual. Tasmin Ajnana Mula Samsara Na Paramarthata iti. And therefore, to think that I am Dukhi, Dukhitvam, see Dukhitvam in Atma. That Advayananda Rupa, I am non-dual and I am Ananda. Seeing division in oneself, seeing Dukkha in oneself, it just is totally against, contrary to one's true nature. Therefore, Ajnana Mula, it is caused by ignorance. So, samsara na paramarthataha. So, looking upon oneself as divided from others, looking upon oneself as dukhi is ajnana, its mula is only ajnanam. Na paramartha, samsara is not paramarthataha. Advayanandatvam is paramarthikam, samsara is na paramarthataha. It is swamatam. So, this is what has been established so far. Abhidhaya, having stated one's own position here, tatreva mumukshuna matisthairyaya. Now at this stage another topic is taken. I said what chapter continues and continues and continues. So it keeps taking turns and twists and turns, and now some different twist is taken. Why? Tatreva mumukshuna matisthairyaya. Now mananam is required. Because about Atma and about samsara, about moksha, different opinions exist. And not only so, swamatam, the matam or the opinion or understanding of one's own based on the scriptures is established. But what about a paramata? There are people, thinkers who have a different conclusion about nature of Atma, nature of moksha. So that also should be analyzed and recognizing what is the defect involved in their thinking. You have to recognize that. So that no more remains. But then Sankhya says this, what about that? So even after having understood what Vedanta says and known, still the opinions that others have can create these doubts in my mind. And therefore this is the second chapter of the Brahma Sutra, Avirodha, or that showing the defect of the thinking of other thinkers. So therefore, tatra mukshuna matisthairyaya, that mumukshu, the mati, or the knowledge of the mumuksha or aspirant, or conclusion, nischaya, sthairya. So not only should I have the knowledge, but that the knowledge must be firm knowledge. And firmness of my knowledge can be shaken up when somebody else comes up with a different argument, then I can get shaken up. Matisthairyaya sasthuna nikhananyayana matantara nirakaranam kartum. Therefore it is necessary matantara nirakaranam. Refuting the matantara, refuting the conclusions of other thinkers. Bhagavan Bhashyakara Sankhya Kalpanam Tavat Nirakarati. Others are all Kalpana. Upanishad is only Pramana. Others are all the result of their mati, the reasoning. So Kalpana. And so, first of all, this Srushti Kalpana. The Sankhya give a model, or Sankhya describe how creation takes place. So Vedantin questions that very prakriya of creation of Sankhya. Sankhya Kalpanam tavat nirakarati. Therefore Kalpana, call it imagination, projection or notion that Sankhya say about the creation is now refuted here. Next verse. Gunanam samabhavasya brahmso nahyupapadyate avidyade prasuptatvad nachanyo heturuchyate. Gunanam samabhavasya. So explaining the creation, sustenance, dissolution. So utpatti, sthiti, pralaya. So utpatti takes place from pralaya. Creation takes place from dissolution. Like sushupti, deep sleep is similar to pralaya. From there the creation of dreaming, waking take place. So Sankhyas describe the state of pralaya, from where the creation takes place of Mahat Tattva, Ahankara and so on and so forth. So then, first line says, Tatra yat pradhanam trigunatmakam swatantram achetanam. Sankhya, the dualists, they accept two independent realities, Purusha and Prakriti. Purusha is Chetana, Prakriti Achetana, and still is a reality. How can Achetana be reality, independent reality? So Prakriti Achetana exists on its own. Yet Pradhanam. So Pradhanam is Gunasamya Avastha. Prakriti is when the state of creation happens, or the preparedness for creation happens, then, so that is called Prakriti. When there is no activity at all, it's called Pradhanam, when there is a state of balance or equilibrium. Then a time comes when the equilibrium is about to be disturbed, which is when the creation takes place. That state. So, Prakashana Kruti Yogyata is a Prakriti which is now ready to create. So, Trigunatmakam Pradhanam is Trigunatmakam of Sattva, Rajas, Tamas, where the equilibrium of the three gunas, Swatantram, it is independent, Achetanam, unconscious, when reality, Purushasya Bhogavatham. Now, another thing that they imagine, even though it is Achetanam, Pradhanam, the Pradhanam knows what the Purusha needs. Purusha is Atma, is Bhokta, not Karta. Pradhanam is Kartru, not Bhoktru. Purusasya Dukhanam Bhoktrute Hetu Ruchyate. Karya Kartrutve Hetu Prakriti Ruchyate. Lord Krishna says that the Karya Karanatmak Jagat is created by Prakriti and Purusha is only Sukha Dukkha Bhokta. So apparently, how the creation takes place is, Sankhya has imagined that this Pradhanam, which is unconscious by nature, which considers the three gunas, somehow knows what the Purusha needs. And Purusha has two needs, Bhoga and Apavarga. So, Purusharthas are four, not Dharma, Artha, Kama. Dharma, Artha, Kama are one, called Bhoga, and Moksha is Apavarga. Two Purushas are there. That's what a Purusha can desire. Either desires Bhoga or Apavarga. And this Pradhanam knows. So if he requires Bhoga, then Pradhanam creates the condition for Bhoga to take place. If he requires Apavarga, then Pradhanam creates condition for Apavarga to take place. So this kind of intuition or insight the Pradhanam has as to what the Purusha needs, and to fulfill that need, Pradhanam creates the universe around him. Mahadadirupana Parinamate Kalpayanti. So they imagine that Pradhanam gets modified, transformed as Mahat, Ahankara, Panchatanmatrani, that all of that, Pradhanam becomes, Prakriti becomes all of that. For what? For satisfying the needs of Purusha. What needs? Bhoga and Apavarga. So thus Pradhanam knows what Purusha wants and thus gets transformed in it by itself for fulfilling the needs of Purusha. Iti Kalpayanti is not Kalpana anyway. Whenever, whatever you arrive at by your own individual mind is a Kalpana. So all science is a Kalpana. Kalpana is actually inference. Kalpana, inference. For which there is no proof. Inference, of course, is supposed to be a proof anyway. It's also a praman. But it's subject to being, challenged by a better inference. And that's how the notion keeps all conclusions change. But Vedantin says it's also Kalpana. I don't think this is real. Right? You're not describing reality, you're describing your own Kalpana. That this is what happens. Tat tavanna sambhavati. So, proposition of Vedantin is that your contention or your conclusion that creation takes place on the part of Pradhanam in response to the needs of Purusha, this doesn't make sense. Tat tavanna sambhavati. When we analyze how can this be possible, find that this doesn't make sense. So this is how now the discussion begins by refuting the position of the Sankhyas. We will continue. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutrahashya Krutau Vande Bhagavanto Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmedi मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। हरि ओम। श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः।